All right, guys, I have a tough video today. For those of you who had dreams of flying into space on Space Perspectives balloon, I'm pretty sure they're out of business. And with no notification, no public announcement, just all of the sudden they have disappeared. And I'm sad about that. But if you want to know all the deets, keep on watching. That's what we're doing on the show today. All right, guys, don't forget, take a moment, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell right here on YouTube. We bring you amazing content to help you with your travel businesses every single week, and I don't want you to miss a thing. If you're new here, type a little "I'm new" in comments, and I would love to welcome you to our community. You might not know who I am if you're new, by the way. I'm Cyndi Williams. I'm the CEO and founder of Wanderlust Campus. I've been in the travel industry for over 30 years. We help people just like you launch, grow, and supersize your travel businesses through our gold standard certifications. You can find all of our information at travelschool.com. But today, guys, my little 10-year-old heart that wanted to be an astronaut is broken. And here's the deal. If you haven't heard of Space Perspective, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Space Perspective was this new innovative company, and they were kind of coming up. You know, we have all the different, we're starting to kind of have this concept of space tourism, which I've been following so closely. And Space Perspective was going to have this kind of, the only way I can explain is like a balloon. It wasn't an actual balloon. Well, there was an actual balloon, but it was like a capsule attached to like almost the science and technology was kind of like a weather balloon. It would gently bring you up to space. You would see kind of the horizon and get just outside of the Earth's atmosphere and then kind of come back down in a gentle way. So the nice thing about this concept was anybody could kind of travel on it. There weren't like age. So if someone was like 87, they could still go, whereas they might not be able to jump on one of these rockets where you can get a ticket on in the near future, right? But I just want to give you guys the history of kind of how this happens, because I think this is a lesson in also making sure you're really vetting suppliers before you go all in on marketing. Now, because I have good instincts and because I've been in the industry a long time, we're on the cutting edge. We were working with Space Perspective, and I'll elaborate on that here in a second. And we had vetted them, okay? So, but we had set up our contracts in a way with our clients where if something happened, they weren't going to be out any money. We were going to be out a little money, and unfortunately we are out some money over this whole situation, but not as much as other people, I'm sure, are out. So let me give you the scoop on this. Space Perspective came on the scene. They were having conversations with ASTA, which is the American Society of Travel Advisors, which is like our biggest kind of advocacy group here in the industry. So that was a big deal. They were also working with Signature, which is one of the most elite and best consortia that's out there, and got listed as a supplier with them. They also did the rounds at GTM. Now, if you don't know what GTM is the big travel conference you can only get into if you're already selling either over $1 million, at least the East version. West, the criteria is a little bit lower, but on the East version, the one that I go to, because I'm here in Florida, you have to, as an individual agent, sell over $1 million a year. If you're an agency owner like we are, you have to be over $2 to $3 million a year in order to be eligible to go to these conferences. So they were doing the rounds at GTM. Now, why that's important is if you're at GTM, you have to pay a lot of money to be there, and you're pretty much considered a vetted supplier. GTM is run by the North Star Group, Travel Weekly, that kind of, that group that does all those. And normally it's very reputable. If they've made it in front of you there, it means they have a viable product, and they were really kind of queuing up to say, we're going to have these space flights. It's going to happen in 2 years. And the commission rate was around 12%, which, isn't that fantastic for the industry, except when you realize that the ticket price to go on one of these balloons was over $100,000. So as an agent, not a bad deal. You could earn about $12,000 for every seat that you sold. And at the time, they were doing $1,000 deposits for each seat. And your client could either put down the deposit or the agency could put down the deposit. So in order to protect our clients, we did put down the deposit, which is now somewhere in space with the rest of their clients' money, I suppose. But here's the thing with Space Perspective. They were the real deal. I don't think it was a scam. I don't think it was like a pyramid. I think it was, they had really good intentions, and I don't know if they ran out of funding. Even up through December, we were still getting emails from them, and we had gone about a year and a half ago, we had gone to their big event down here in Florida where we went down to NASA. We saw the facility. We saw what they were building. We saw pictures of the capsule, and there were certain areas we weren't allowed to take pictures. And the nice thing is I have some content I'm going to edit in here for you so you guys can get a look so you can see what I'm seeing. It was very impressive, the setup, and it was run by these scientists that had amazing reputations. In fact, one of my boys was studying some of the things that they had done in their classroom here in Florida. They were studying some things that they had done prior to Space Perspective. So one of my sons was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to meet Jane. Like, I just learned about her in school. So these were not just any people off the street is what I'm getting at. These were talented, smart individuals who put together very impressive concept. And even back in, I think it was September, October, they said that Virgin was coming on to be an investor. So all along we're thinking, wow, this is getting bigger and bigger and more exciting. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was December or January, my husband came downstairs and he's like, I just found this weird like TikTok, and it's the only thing that's still out there. It's like a news reporter, and he's like, they got kicked out of their building. So I contacted, I couldn't get a hold of anyone via email, my contacts, and I had worked with a lot of their individuals because I had, we had actually created a really nice YouTube video, and I ended up never putting it out. And I feel like this is the universe watching out for me because I had worked like a month and a half on this video, and we were going back and forth with their marketing department on how they wanted me to say things and all the things. But it just like, it kind of went by the wayside because we got so busy and it just didn't fall right on the YouTube schedule. Anyway, so I got approvals for all the content that you're seeing in terms of the things that I'm putting in here now. But, you know, I couldn't get a hold of anyone at the company. So I had 5 or 6 contacts. I finally got a hold of one of them through Instagram because they were following me on Instagram. And she gave me a couple names to contact. No one is calling me back. No one is doing the things. And here's the thing that irritates me the most, though. I went to their Instagram page, and of course, I left a very nice message like, hey, I can't get in touch with you. Please let me know what's going on. Da, 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 da. And I can see that they read. Like, turn off your red, Space Perspective, if you don't want people to know. So I know someone is looking at the messages we're sending, and it literally says, seen your message. And I'm like, what, you know, look, I'm out the deposit money. It is what it is. I'm over it. It's like, that was my little space dream to be an astronaut and do the things. And I couldn't wait to bring space tourism through our agency, and all signs pointed to go on this. But I'm glad I did it in a way where it didn't cost my clients that had tickets anything. But what I'm very curious about for those of you watching this video, if you had a flight that was under a year, because I know at the year mark, like if your flight, because they were supposed to start doing flights later this year. So if you were on one of those first flights, you were supposed to pay the balance, which meaning your $100,000 ticket was due a year before. So some people, I am guessing, are potentially out $100,000. And what they had said in their stats is the majority of people were buying the entire capsule out, meaning $800,000 purchases. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I imagine you don't spend that kind of money unless you're willing to lose it. I don't know. That's how we felt about the deposit. We're like, look, it is, you know, it's something that's new, and we're going to kind of go this route. But the reason we put our flights where we did is we were going to make sure that like the first 50 flights happened, they were going well. So our clients were never in jeopardy safety wise. And also that they weren't paying with their credit cards the remainder of their $99,000 balance or $110,000 or whatever their balance would have been to pay them directly. So thank goodness for that. But I'm very curious, if you're watching this video and you're one of those people that did pay your $100,000, did you get your money back? Did they keep your money? What happened? Please comment down below on this video. I would love to just know. And if you are with Space Perspective and watching this video, please reach out. Let me know where my deposit is. I would love to get that back if we can. And if not, I mean, I think you'd owe the public, you owe the public an explanation And, Space Perspective did such a beautiful job of bringing the community together. I mean, they had this beautiful event in Florida, like I was talking about. They had this beautiful dinner where they had like a photo booth and they had people talk about the science, and there was dancing. I mean, this was like a very elite party. Like everybody that you had to have had a ticket or bought a capsule or two in order to get invited to this event. So everyone in that room had already kind of invested in their first, securing their seat on these future flights, right? The other thing is too, guys, like Space Perspective had a deal with Mercedes. They had a deal with Oreo. This was like the next big thing. And I'm just so disappointed, but I feel like how they're handling it now is extremely disappointing. Like, you need to tell people what is going on. Like I had to reach out to a couple of our clients and they're like, I can't find anything about this. Are you sure they're out of business? And I'm like, no one's returning the calls. They got kicked out of their space from what I hear. That's at least allegedly they got evicted. That was reported on one of the news channels from their spot here in Florida where they had their huge facility, the one that we toured. And no one's responding, and nothing's been out since, like, they haven't posted anything since December. And just in December too, they sent an email about the next fun event they were trying to get people to pre-register for. So I don't know what happened, or if someone pulled out investor dial. I have no idea what happened. They're not sharing what happened. They literally have gone radio silent. So guys, Jane, Tabor, wherever you guys are, like, can you just tell us like what happened? Like, if, I'm just disappointed that the whole thing's getting scratched. Maybe they're looking for new investors and they're hoping to come in and save the day. I don't know. Very sad that it's kind of not going the route that it was supposed to. But I thought I'd make this video because there's nothing on YouTube out there. And if you had anything set up on auto payment or anything like that, make sure you get in touch and get answers. I don't know if they're still actively accepting money or payments. I have no idea. If you have any information on that, please go ahead and post below. And listen, I did get this nice jacket. So every time I'll show you a picture, this is going to be my jacket to remind me. And guys, here's the other thing too. Like, if you were a travel advisor or agency owner, I think the lesson here is make the decisions that are going to protect your client. So whenever you have something new, and the space tourism is all new, or you're working with a new brand that hasn't launched yet and things like that, you really have to be cautious on how you set up those agreements with your clients, what you're willing to put out from an agency perspective, what you're willing to lose. Again, in our case, our clients did not lose a penny. And if you are a consumer watching this and you didn't use a travel advisor to book your ticket on Space Perspective, this is a reason why you should work with a certified travel agency or a certified travel professional. So what you want to look for are these emblems. Certified travel professional looks like this, and anyone that is a certified travel agency owner looks like this. And that means they have been certified through Wanderlust campus, and they have learned all of the things in my brain, not just ethics wise, but how to protect clients and things like that. Pick a travel advisor or a travel agency that has those certifications on all of your travel, not just space travel. But because in this scenario, again, our clients aren't out any money, no hard feelings, is what it is. But yeah, that's the scoop, guys. So hopefully, I would just love to hear your comments and feedback if you know anything else down below. But listen, wherever you guys are in your travel journeys or out there in the world, I know we have a lot of travel advisors that follow the channel. I wish you so much love, so much abundance. I wish you the world. We'll be back next week with a non-space topic. Last video, I want to encourage you to check out the other content we have here on the channel. We have amazing content at every level, no matter where you are in your travel industry journey, from aspiring to new to growing. Even our travel agency owners, look for those playlists and you can find some amazing content that's really catered just to you. And by the way, if you haven't signed up for your Wanderlust Campus free account, make sure you do that too. And you know what? I'm going to pick some videos and put them for you right here. Check those out. I'll see you next time.